Hey guys, today I'm reacting to Geography Now Nigeria. Should be pretty interesting. Nigeria. It's like it's the powerhouse of West Africa. I think it has a pretty large population. Definitely one of the largest in Africa. Um yeah, and pretty neat history I think so. It's definitely a rising superpower. Let's get into the video.
We have reached the powerhouse of Africa. It's where Africans from all over migrate to make something of themselves. Ethiopia might be the wise monk master that all Africans kind of respect.
Ethiopia is pretty cool, yeah.
But Nigeria is kind of like the big guy, the kingpin, the final boss at the end of the game. But you don't have to fight the boss, you just have to make copacetic trade deals and learn some Afrobeat and you're good.
The jollof rice, yeah.
It's time to learn geography.
Now! Everyone, I'm your host Barbs. Most people on Earth have probably heard of the country Nigeria in the back of their heads with little or no knowledge on where or what exactly it is. Well, you probably should,
I mean, I could look it on a map, but
considering that it's the most populous country in all of Africa with like the most money. I talked to a lot of you guys, the Nigerian geography peeps, for help on this episode. Obviously, we can't cover it all, but today we'll try to scratch the surface of this behemoth of a nation. Let's begin. Now, if you look at Nigeria on the map, it kind of has a sweet location. It's like the link between West and Central Africa where all the business happens. Oh, and totally unrelated, there's a town called Porno. First of all, the country is located in West Africa, bordered by 4 other countries, with the Gulf of Guinea in the Atlantic Ocean just off their southern coast. The country is divided into 36 states and 1 federal capital territory for the capital, Abuja. Here you can also find the second busiest airport, Nnamdi Azikiwe International. Nonetheless, the absolute largest city, not only in Nigeria, but all of Africa, with a greater metropolitan population around 21 million, is Lagos, the former
I've heard of Lagos, yeah.
capital, located in the south along the coast, built on a lagoon. Here, the largest and busiest airport most people fly into, Murtala Muhammad International Airport, can be found just on the northwest side of the city. Otherwise, the second largest city is Kano, all the way up north, in a state that shares the same name as the city, Nibadu, which is part of the Oyo state, just a short distance from Lagos. The country is also the hub and endpoints to the numerous trans-African roadways that cross the entire continent, such as the West African Coastal Highway that is set to complete in Liberia, the Lagos-Mombasa Highway that is still being built to cross over to Kenya, then the Trans-Saharan Highway, which is set to connect to Algeria in the Mediterranean. Apart from that, they also have a network of railways. However, due to decline and neglect, the only line that operates regularly is the Lagos-Kano
That's a bit sad. As a real fan, that's a bit sad to see.
line. Finally, like many other African nations, the coast doesn't really have too many natural harbors, as the land is serrated with choppy river estuaries that are hard to build on. Nonetheless, Lagos got really lucky with the lagoon, which is why they have the largest and busiest shipping port in West Africa, the Lagos Ports Authority, which is not
Makes
only an
sense.
important point of trade for Nigeria, but also their landlocked neighbors up north, like Chad and Niger, that depend on business access to the ocean. All the states of Nigeria were pretty much formed out of 3 original region states after independence, but then over time it kind of went like this.
Why do I have to get clumped in together in the same state with this tribe? We have nothing in common.
My tribe has a specific historical claim to this allotted region. Can we, like, have it for ourselves?
Why does Lagos get to be the capital? We need to build a new one in the center of the country. I want to be my own country!
Africa
I mean, making it in the center of the country kind of does make sense, but I mean, it's not necessary, I guess, but it does make sense from a logical standpoint.
101, you know the deal. We've discussed this many times. And to explain a little further, Ken, why not just take it? Go ahead.
All right, cool. The country is a middle income, mixed economy.
Tumayo ka nga na maayos para maayos yan, okay?
Okay, thanks, Mom. The country is a middle income, mixed economy, emerging market nation. On top of that, although the country is a federal presidential republic, it's important to note that they do have many constituent tribal kingdoms, chiefdoms, and emir states. They are ruled by traditional monarchs that don't actually hold government power, but are rather cultural figureheads with high influence. You can see many of the palaces of the monarchs either from the past or currently still in use today all over the country. These palaces are very important as they give you a glimpse into the past. They tell a story about how a country operated with independent states prior to colonization.
Oh,
That's
tapos
cool.
ka na.
Interesting.
Okay. And speaking of cool places in Nigeria, some notable spots you guys, the Nigerian geography suggested we mention include places like these famous rocks, the 3 Elders statue, the National Theater and Museum, the
That's
Badagry
nice.
Slave Museum, Benin City National Museum, the National War Museum, Millennium Park. There's so many theme and amusement parks. For some reason,
That's
there's a
cool.
house with an airplane on it.
Damn, that's pretty epic.
The New Africa Shrine, the Nikkei Art Gallery, the Alok Ikom monoliths, and finally the Osun Osogbo Sacred Grove. It's actually a UNESCO heritage site. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. We're just getting started because there's a little secret resource Nigeria has that we will discuss in... Now, when you look at countries with high populations, they all kind of have something in common when it comes to their land. Really good water sources that can irrigate lots of their land. And Nigeria kind of checks off on that option. But there's a little something extra. First of all, the country is generally flatter all around with small rolling hills until you get to the central and east parts. In the center, you find the Jos Plateau with a wide array of eroded rocky boulder hills. Then you go to the northeast with the dry arid highlands known as the Biu Plateau. Then you go to the border with Cameroon and find the Mandara mountain chain that extends into the Mambila Plateau. Here you can find the highest peak just by the border with Cameroon, Chapal Wadi. The longest river is the Niger River that flows southward, emptying into the Gulf of Guinea, creating one of the largest delta networks in the world. This river estuary is sometimes called the Oil Rivers. Now, this is one of the most important regions of Nigeria as it holds much of their economic wealth through the petroleum industry.
Makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, of course it'd be profitable then.
Pay attention to this area. The river is blocked up in the north, creating the largest body of water completely within Nigeria, the Kainji Reservoir, created by the Kainji Dam. However, the largest shared body of water would be Lake Chad in the east, split amongst 4 nations, and unfortunately, it has been drying up over the past half century. It's important to note, though, that the Niger River meets a fork with the second longest river, the Benue, in the east. This tributary essentially splits the nation into 3 parts, which has been one of the biggest factors in influencing the people groups of Nigeria. We'll talk more about this later, though. The country has 4 main climate zones: the wet monsoon region along the end of the Niger River Delta, the largest chunk being a tropical forest and savanna region up north, and then you get the warm semi-arid dry regions, and finally the furthest northeast corner has a warm desert climate. This is the driest and hottest area of Nigeria. So taking all of that into account, you can see how the land of Nigeria is not only diverse, but the list of resources that come with it are quite broad as well. And with that being said, here's Noah to explain. All right.
Now, as mentioned, Nigeria is the largest economy in Africa, surpassing the $1 trillion GDP purchasing power parity mark. It is labeled a 3G country, or one of the 11 growth potential economies that the world is watching. However, it is important to note that the country still has a lot of confusing disparities that conflict with each other. It's kind of like this.
Hey, I mean, we only have about a 15% debt to GDP ratio, which is not bad considering our size. You know, we're generating more on average than we spend.
Yeah, but there's large gaps in wealth distribution. The average GDP per capita hovers around $6,000 a year or so, and somewhere over a third of the country falls within the poverty line.
Hey, for the African continent as a whole, 6,000 years is not too bad, okay? We are the largest petroleum and crude oil provider in Africa, 12th in the world. We've diversified our revenue sources and eliminated our bilateral debt under the Paris Club.
Yeah, but our agriculture sector has not caught up with the domestic demand and population growth. We have too much of a fixed dependence on the petroleum and energy sector. And it's like, what, 78% of our exports? Which, by the way, has polluted our river systems and caused insurrection groups in the south. Way to go with handling that.
Will you just shut up and be happy we're making more money?
Will you just, shut up and manage the money better?
Look at Nigeria. They really are blossoming into a world market player, aren't they? About a third of the population works in agriculture, which makes up about 18% of their GDP. They rank 6th worldwide and 1st in all of Africa in terms of farm output. They are the world's largest producer of yams, cassavas, and taro. Nigeria is
Tasty stuff.
incredibly diverse in flora and fauna. It has around 4,700 species of plants, 940 species of bird, and 290 mammal species. Nigeria also claims to be
pretty
the
epic.
nation with the largest variety of butterfly species on Earth. And to finish off this segment like we always do, food! And each people group and region has its specialty. One thing they all usually have
I've heard of fufu before, yeah. Crushed cassava and
in
plantain.
common, though, is fufu. You can find this with many meals served, such as gari, isue, gala sausage rolls, suya, fried plantain, meat pies, puff puff.
Oh yeah, that all sounds good. Puff puff, fried plantains, meat pies, yeah.
These soups and gala sausage rolls, suya, fried plantain, meat pies, puff puff. These soups and every Nigerian
Yep, and I know jollof rice. Yeah.
will say
It's tasty.
jollof rice originated here, and it is the best.
Yeah, you would say that, Nigeria. Wait for my episode.
That's a story for another time. But now we gotta move on and talk about
Why, thank you, Noah. Alright, when it comes to Nigeria, there isn't a single story, but more like hundreds of mini chapters all woven together like Frankenstein in a weird epic novel that makes no sense. First of all, as of 2019, the country has just passed 200 million and is the 7th most populous country in the world, and about 1 in 6 Africans is Nigerian. The country has over 250 ethnic groups, however the 3 largest groups are the Hausa Fulani at about 30%, the Yoruba at about 21%, Igbo at around 19%, and about 25% are made up of various other ethnic groups, most notably ones like the Tiv, Ija, Kanuri, Ibibio, Igala, and so on, whereas about 5% are made up of non-Nigerian Africans and non-Africans. They use the Nigerian Naira as their currency, they use the types D and G plug outlets, and they drive on the right side of the road. Now from here, we have a lot to cover and it only gets more complicated. First off, language. As a former British colony, English became official. In fact, they are the 3rd largest English-speaking nation on Earth after the USA and India. However, Nigerian Pidgin English is more commonly spoken as a lingua franca. Here are some of you guys, the Nigerian geography peeps, explaining.
Like if someone to ask you how are you doing, they tell you how far.
You dey make sono, you're looking beautiful.
Dash me. Dash me is like give me something or gift me something.
How your birthday do you? How are you feeling?
No wahala. No wahala means no problem.
At the chop food, come chop.
Thank you guys. Keep in mind though,
Sounds a bit similar to some English slang like from London.
over 500 languages and dialects are spoken in Nigeria, one of which was even written in pictograph characters called Nsibidi. The general
That's
rule
cool.
is if you can't speak English, you can use Yoruba in the southwest, Igbo in the southeast, and Hausa in the north. Faith-wise, the country is almost equally divided amongst Christians and Muslims, with about 1% more Christians. Otherwise, traditional indigenous beliefs are the 3rd most common, which brings us to tribalism. Now, in Nigeria, the issue is you kind of have to find a way to balance power and politics between the tribes and religion. If too many Christian leaders come to power, the Muslims get a little antsy, and vice versa with Muslims and Christians. Or sometimes, if a certain tribe, regardless of religion, comes to power that another tribe is not too fond of, even if they share the same religion, things can get a little complicated. This is the beauty and curse of Nigeria. If you make one slip up and show even the slightest bit of hereditary partisanship, everyone will get mad. And it kind of happened quite a bit in their history. Now, we don't have time to talk about every single one of the many ethno-linguistic people
Yeah, it should be based on merit.
groups of Nigeria, but we can at least try our best to highlight the main 3. In a nutshell, the Yorubas are mostly found in the southwestern regions and the largest city, Lagos. Yorubas are descendants of the Oyo Empire. Today, they are kind of like the entertaining, flashy city folk, very westernized, but never compromising their African roots. They're known for their bright colors, loud, boisterous personalities. They throw the best parties, or owambe. And today, they, along with the Igbo, make up the largest demographic of Nigerians abroad. Supposedly, they also claim to have the highest rate of twin births in the world. There's even a twin capital of the world in this town.
Damn,
Igbos are
pretty
mostly
cool.
found in the southeast, and they live mostly along the Niger River and Delta. They are descendants of the kingdom of Nri. Mathematics was heavily taught. They had their own banking, loaning, and calendar system, and some social taboos in certain tribes like facial scarification called Ichi. Today they are known for being the industrious, well-educated, clean freaks that are really good at making money and doing business. They are
Oh.
predominantly Christian. However, interestingly enough, some claim that they are descendants of one of the lost tribes of Israel from Jacob's son Gad. So today you can even see Igbo Jews worshiping in synagogues. And finally, the
Interesting.
Hausa people. They are the largest group, mostly found in the north. This is the largest predominantly Muslim group in Nigeria. Their history goes way back. Many of them are farmers or herdsmen. They live in drier, more arid regions of the country. They also have a very strong equestrian culture with horse races. Daura has a huge horse festival with colorful processions. And I know there are so many other people groups that we could discuss about, but already this video is getting pretty long, so let's just hop over to some culture stuff with Hannah. Where's Hannah? I have to do everything myself. If there's one
Damn.
thing,
If there's one thing Nigeria
Good editing.
specializes in, it would be festivals. Some of the big ones include the Argungu Fishing Festival, Ayo Masquerade Festival, Igbos have a huge yam festival, and so on. Weddings are taken very seriously. It's customary to spray the bride and groom with money, and everyone dances. Nigeria is also home to
Yeah, I've heard of Nollywood.
Hollywood, Africa's largest
Lots of
film
Nigerian
market
movies.
and 3rd most valuable market in the world behind Hollywood and Bollywood, with over 2,000 film companies producing about 50 to 200 movies a week. And finally, the one thing that unites them all, no matter what region, tribe, or religion you are, is soccer or football. Nigerians treat the sport with utmost pride and honor. The National Football Federation, team known as the Super Eagles, has won 3 African Cups, and they often participate in the World Cup and once ranked 5th in the world by FIFA in 1994. Okay, I'm going back. Thank you, Hannah.
Thank you, Hannah. Now, before we move on, many of you Nigerian geography peeps did also ask that I don't sugarcoat this episode and that I do bring awareness to some of the controversies that the country faces. As many of us already know, the jihadist terrorist organization Boko Haram was founded in Nigeria in the north and has been a constant issue that the nation has been dealing with. Many of you also wanted me to mention the ridiculous government scandals with embezzlement of funds. The governor of Kano was caught on camera taking a bribe, but it was dismissed, and one lady claimed that over $100,000
It was dismissed? The heck? There should be harsh punishment for corruption.
went missing because a snake ate it. And finally, no shocker, we all know about those infamous Nigerian Prince 419 scams. Nigerians are sick and tired of hearing about it. They've heard all the jokes. You know the deal.
Oh, what's this? Email with slight spelling and grammatical errors?
Hello, good sir or madam. I am a totally real rich person from England.
I'm a real sir or madam.
I want to give you $4 million because I am dying, and it is my final wish that a good person like you should receive my inheritance.
I just made $4 million.
However, all my money is in a box guarded by my good friend in West Africa.
That totally makes sense to me. It's so not suspicious.
Therefore, all I ask is that you pay the shipping fee of $500 to send this box over to you.
Pay $500 and make $4 million? It's so good and it's true.
Sincerely, a totally real rich British person.
Wait, first they said England, and now they say they are from British. Something doesn't make sense.
Ah, who needs the dark web when you have Craigslist? Otherwise, we gotta move on. History. In the quickest way I can summarize it, Nok culture, Oyo Kingdom. Meanwhile, the empires of Benin and Edo people are going on. Bam! Hausa kingdoms. Meanwhile, Kingdom of Nri is going on. Igala and Jukun kingdoms just up north. Some intertribal fighting. Europeans make first contact. Slave trade. Sokoto Caliphate took over in the north. British take over Lagos. Later, southern Nigeria. Then they take over the Sokoto Caliphate. Indirect rule to native rulers. 1960 independence. Oil is discovered. Civil war. Assassination of this dude. That led to a series of coups and counter coups. Oil crisis with insurgent groups in the 2000s. New Hausa president voted in. They surpassed 200 million people. And here we are today. I asked you guys, the Nigerian geography peeps, to give a list of some of the most notable people from Nigeria. And here are some of the people you mentioned. Queen Amina, Benjamin Nnamdi Azikiwe. There's a ton of musicians like these people. However, one of the most notable ones is probably Fela Kuti. His mom was actually a chief and arguably even more famous than him. A
Damn, your mom's more famous? That's cool.
ton of soccer players and pretty much anybody on the national team, the Super Eagles. A ton of basketball and U.S. football players. Emmanuel Ifeajun, Anthony Joshua. So many actors like these people.
I've heard of John Boyega, yeah.
Emmanuel Ifeajun, Anthony Joshua. So many actors like these people. I'm sure you've probably heard of many of them. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala.
Pretty famous actors, actually. Yeah.
Ameo Adadevo, Margaret Ekpo, Agbani Darego, Sir Lois Odumegu, Aiko Dangote, and there's a ton of famous writers like these people. However, the most famous one is probably this guy, Professor Wole Soyinka. Whew, yeah, lots of famous Nigerians. They're all over. And speaking of all over, let's discuss the way they interact with the rest of the world, shall we? As a major key figure not only in Africa but the world, Nigeria has a lot of current and future ambition when it comes to global interaction. First of all, the UK and US have the largest Nigerian populations outside of the African continent. Obviously, being an Anglophone nation helps. Today, they are part of the Commonwealth of Nations, they have huge business deals, and the US works alongside Nigeria in counter-terrorism efforts in their own country, as well as Africa as a whole. In Asia, China and India are vying for more partnerships. India is their largest export partner. About 20% of all of India's crude oil comes from Nigeria. However, China is the largest import partner. In 2006, former President Hu Jintao visited Nigeria and signed a memorandum of understanding to establish strategic partnership deals, and they have supported Nigeria's bid for a seat in the UN Security Council. As a founding member of the African
Oh, really? Nigeria might get a seat in the UN Security Council? But I guess, is it the permanent positions? Security Council, I just want is one of the 6 principal organs of the United Nations. Yep. So 15 countries, permanent members and non-permanent members. Okay. I see. So yeah, the permanent members is different than just being part of the UN Security Council. Yeah, I figured. That makes sense. Huh. Because, I mean, I was a little bit confused if they were talking about, I guess, the permanent members. Because when you say the Security Council, I usually just think of, like, China, France, Russia, United Kingdom, and the United States. The permanent members. I don't really think of, the non-permanent members. Unless that's what it was meant. I'm not sure, but pretty cool.
African Union, they've always been an important link for a seat in the UN Security Council.
So just the UN Security Council, not the permanent member.
As a founding member of the African Union, they've always been an important link to the mainstream African geopolitical structure. They generally get along with all their West African neighbors. It probably depends on who you ask. On the borders, Benin and Cameroon have the most Nigerians living outside of Nigeria. For Benin, many of them are Yoruba, and much of Benin's economy depends on Nigeria as well. In Cameroon, many of the eastern tribes like the Ibibio are found. However, there's a little bit of tension over oil rights in the Bakassi Peninsula back in the early 2000s. Nonetheless, most Nigerians I have talked to have said that in the end, as much as they love competing and mocking them, Ghana is probably the best friend with such a long love-hate relationship. Not only do they share much historically in trade and colonial ties, both being under the British, they are also both English-speaking and have lavish ancient kingdoms and traditions. They also love to try and outdo each other in everything: sports, money, prestige. It's a total reputation bluff. Nonetheless, on a personal level though, when a Ghanaian and Nigerian meet each other, there's just this immediate click that nobody can quite describe. They love each other, they get each other, and hands down, they will always be there for each other in the end.
That's
in
nice.
conclusion, you cannot talk about Africa without mentioning Nigeria. It has played such a key role in molding much of the entire continent. It's big, it's loud, it's crazy, it's colorful, it's musical, it's hardworking, it's got quite a story. Stay tuned! Norway is coming up next.
Let's check out the flag
Hey everybody, welcome back
Friday for Nigeria.
Flag/Fan Friday. Hope you liked the Nigeria episode. So as you know, there's the part where I talk about the small mistakes or things that didn't quite make it into the episode. For one, yes, I know I mispronounced a lot of words. There are a few spelling errors. For example, it's Benue River, not Benue. But I mean, come on, it looks like Benue. I accidentally said that the current president was Hausa. He's actually Fulani. And in physical geography, the oil rivers was actually just kind of like the southern part of the delta of the Niger River, not everything to the west of it. Otherwise, one thing we wanted to talk more about but didn't have enough time: how did Nigeria get so populous? I got this email from Geography Mojisola. They said, polygamy is not only allowed, but only 23 of the 36 states have adopted the Child's Rights Act in the Constitution.
Oh, damn. Interesting.
Passed in 2003.
Polygamy is not only allowed, but only 23 of the 36 states have adopted the Child's Rights Act in the Constitution, passed in 2003, which states the age of 18 being the minimum age for marriage. Usually in the North, Hausa states the rates are highest for women marrying before the age of 18 and having children earlier.
That states the minimum age of 18 being for marriage. Usually in the North, Hausa states the rates are highest for women marrying before 18 and having children earlier. Many sociologists speculate that this, in addition to the high migration rate from other African countries, is one of the leading factors on how their population just exploded. Also, on a sad note, Nigeria is the second most brain-drained country in the world after Greece. They are actually the most
Oh man, that's sad. All the talent's leaving.
educated immigrant group in the USA.
Yeah, I heard there's a lot of like really smart Nigerians in the US, yeah.
Problem is, they might send remittance money, but they don't really want to go back to the homeland and invest their skills. Kind of sad, but it happens. On a lighter note, metallurgy was very prevalent in the Ife and Oyo cultures. Their sculptures incorporated a cast technique that allowed a sophisticated level of aesthetic realism unseen until the Renaissance. They have the
That's
Dufana
damn cool.
canoe, the third oldest in the world. They have the oldest waterworks in Africa. They have the second longest bridge in Africa. Another thing I wanted to talk about is how they have 17 free trade zones, very similar to those economic zones we talked about in the China episode. There's a strange cultural taboo with the Efik and Ibibio women. For some of the women, they go to these fattening rooms before they get married and they just eat and gorge themselves until they gain a lot of weight. It's considered very attractive to be fat in those cultures. And finally, a lot of times
This also seems like a bit of a waste of food, though.
Times in Nigeria, let alone many countries in Africa, you might find people with some very funny sounding names. Names like Knowledge, Fine Face, Thank God, Government, Triumphant, Windows 95. Yeah, I mean, their former president was named Good Luck. Pretty interesting. What's the weirdest name you've heard from
Good Luck Johnson. It's kind of cool, though.
somebody in Africa?
Was it Good Luck Johnson?
Thank God, Government, Triumphant, Windows 95. Yeah, I mean, their former president was named Good Luck.
Good Luck Jonathan, my bad. That's pretty cool, though.
Pretty interesting. What's the weirdest name you've heard from somebody in Africa? Oh yeah, and KSI is Nigerian. Anyway, we gotta move on to the
Oh
flag.
yeah, KSI famous.
So without further ado,
Fun stuff.
I love how in the episode, half of all the comments were just people talking about my Duolingo shirt. By the way, yes, I do have permission to wear their logo. Also, fun fact, that Nigerian Prince skit I did with Keith, that was actually based off of an email I got like 8 years ago. No joke. Anyway, the flag. The flag of Nigeria is a bicolor tri-band with 2 green bands on the sides and 1 in the middle.
I mean, I do like the color green, so it's not bad, but it is a little bit boring.
2 green bands stand for the natural wealth of the nation, whereas the white band stands for peace. And that's it. Like, literally, that's it. It's not complicated. I mean, sometimes you might see the
That is an amazing flag. Oh man, that is so nice. They should use that flag. Like, if that was the official flag, that'd be so much better, I think.
flag with the coat of arms on it, but we'll talk
Flag with the coat of arms is amazing.
about the coat of arms in a sec. Keep in mind, prior to this, they were under the British and had a bunch of historical
That's boring.
flags under the British Empire. Kind of kept changing because the British kept getting more land inland, and finally when they took over the Sokoto Caliphate, they had all of Nigeria. Also keep in mind, some of the states of Nigeria have their own state flag. Some look really
State
cool,
flags
and
are
others
cool.
are just pretty simple, and they just have the name of the state on
Oh,
the flag.
that's
And
boring.
historically, some sub-national regions of Nigeria had their own flags too, and a British admiral brought back this flag showing a man chopping off the head of another man. Supposedly, it came from the Kingdom of Benin. But anyway, yeah. Moving on to the coat of arms. A little more detail. The image contains a black shield representing the fertile soil with a Y-shaped division called a pall, symbolizing the fork at the Niger and Benue rivers. On the sides are 2 white horses representing dignity. Then there's the eagle on top, which represents strength, sitting on green and white bands, the colors of the flag. On the bottom, it all stands on a grassy field with the national flower, the Costus spectabilis, which represents the beauty of the nation. Finally, a scroll at the bottom areas reads Unity, Faith, Peace, and Progress, the national motto. Fun side note, it used
Pretty nice. Pretty
to be
nice.
peace, unity, and freedom. Wonder why they took away the freedom part. Anywho, prior to this, they had a bunch of other coat of arms, mostly under the British Protectorate years. Usually it was just the British coat of arms with a little title banner around it saying Nigeria or something. Otherwise, prior to that, when only Lagos was colonized, they had this emblem, had a little elephant on it with a little L, and prior to that, it was just West African settlements. So yeah, that's pretty much it when it comes to Nigeria's symbolism, and I guess that means we only have one more thing to do. So without further ado, you know what time it is. It's time for
Alright, that was pretty fun. I like the flag with the crest on it. I think it's really nice. And let's check out some of the comments for the video from Geography Now Nigeria. Fun facts about this episode. The Nigerian Prince skit was kind of based on a real email I got like 8 years ago. Yes, as a part-time job, I do hit jobs for the Duolingo bud when he's on his days off. Thanks to all you Nigerian geograpeeps for helping out in this video, and especially Benjamin and Claudia for being in the video. You guys rock. The Filipino mom, that's all I needed today. Thanks. I, Nigerians, greeting from a Filipino. Nigerians are the funniest people in Africa. Nobody can tell me different. Which other Nigerian watched this and didn't know Nigeria was this surprising? I'm a Nigerian, and I must say, you guys being non-Nigerians really made a very accurate presentation of Nigeria. At least being non-Nigerians. I swear, Nigerian cinema has some next level special effects. Sure. Nigeria is definitely set to be a world superpower. Love and admiration from Greece. My wife is Nigerian, and I can stand on the fact that after eating jollof rice every day isn't so bad. She owns her own Nigerian food catering business, and yes, I now have a Nigerian palate for puff, buns, and meat pies, as well as swallow. Nice. That's pretty cool, all things considering. Hi for all Nigerians. Big greeting from Kazakhstan. Yeah. I'm an Indian, and my cousin and her family reside in Nigeria. They say it is a really beautiful nation of hospitable people and diverse cultures. Damn. Bob, we have reached the powerhouse of Africa. Every Nigerian viewer chest swells with pride. That's awesome. I'm American. I just think Nigeria is pretty cool. I agree, yeah, Nigeria is pretty cool. Yeah, this was pretty fun, honestly. Nigeria, respect the Nigeria, cool country, respect the Nigerian people. Fun stuff, honestly. Really enjoyed watching. If you enjoyed my reaction, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Any Nigerians watching, comment down below and like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.